I always dreamed of having a place by the sea. A house where I could wake up to the sound of waves, smell the salt in the air, and walk barefoot on the sand whenever I wanted. For many years, that dream felt impossible. Life was busy, money was tight, and family always came first. But slowly, I saved. Every extra dollar I put aside. I didn't tell anyone about it, not even my son or my closest friends. It was my little secret. Finally, after years of waiting, I did it. I bought a beach house. It wasn't just a house, it was my peace, my reward, my safe place. It stood on a quiet street near the shore, with a white fence and a porch that faced the ocean. When I first walked inside, I felt tears in my eyes. I touched the walls and thought, this is mine. I wanted to keep it private for a while. I wasn't ready to share it with anyone. Families can be complicated, and I knew if people found out, they would have opinions, requests, even demands. I didn't want to argue. I just wanted silence, waves, and peace. So, I kept the secret. For weeks, I visited quietly. I brought books, soft blankets, and my favorite tea. I decorated slowly, making each room feel warm. Every visit made me fall in love with it more. I thought, finally, I have something just for me. But everything changed one Saturday morning. I drove up, happy as usual, but when I turned into the driveway, I froze. There was a car parked outside that wasn't mine. A large SUV, filled with boxes. At first, I thought maybe I had the wrong house. But no, this was my beach house. My heart started pounding. I walked closer, quietly, not sure what to expect. Then I saw her. My sister-in-law, Melissa. She was carrying a box through the front door like she owned the place. I couldn't believe my eyes. I stopped at the edge of the yard, hidden behind the fence, and listened. Melissa's voice carried through the open window. "This is perfect," she said loudly. "Our summer house. We'll set Mom up in the guest room, and the kids can use the upstairs. This will be amazing for everyone." My hands shook. Our summer house. What was she talking about? This was mine. I had never told her, never given her permission. Her husband, my brother David, followed behind her, looking uneasy but carrying another box. He muttered something I couldn't hear, but Melissa cut him off. "No, don't worry. She won't care. She barely uses this place anyway. It makes sense for us to make the most of it." I felt anger rise in my chest. How dare she? I had worked for years to buy this house. And here she was, acting like it belonged to her, giving orders, moving in boxes, calling it their summer house. I wanted to storm in, to shout, to tell her the truth right then. But something stopped me. A cold, sharp thought. If she feels bold enough to move in like this, what else is she planning? So I stayed quiet. I stepped back, heart racing, and returned to my car. I didn't let them see me. Instead, I drove away, my mind spinning. That night, I couldn't sleep. I thought about Melissa's smug voice, about her saying, "Our summer house." I thought about the way David stayed silent, letting her lead. My anger mixed with fear. If I confronted her without proof, she would deny everything. She always did. Melissa was clever, manipulative, and she knew how to twist stories. I decided on something smarter. If she wanted to play games, I would watch first. I would see what she was doing, what she was planning. Only then would I strike. The next morning, I called a locksmith. Every lock in the beach house was changed. Front door, back door, even the windows that could be opened from the outside. Then I called a security company. I had cameras installed in every important place, outside on the porch, near the driveway, in the back by the garden. Hidden, quiet, always recording. I told no one, not even David. As I stood in the living room that night, staring at the new cameras, I felt a strange mix of fear and power. Fear, because my own family was trying to take something from me. Power, because I was ready now. Melissa thought she was clever. She thought I wouldn't notice. But I had caught her. And soon, very soon, I would know exactly what she was up to. I sat down by the window, looking out at the dark sea, and whispered to myself, "This is my house, and I will never let her steal it." The locks were changed. The cameras were hidden. My beach house was safe, for now. But inside, I was not calm. My heart carried a storm. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Melissa's face, smug and confident, calling my home our summer house. I could still hear her voice echoing, "She won't care. She barely uses this place anyway." She was wrong. I cared more than she could ever imagine. I waited, restless. For 2 days nothing happened. The cameras showed nothing but the waves, the seagulls, and the quiet street outside. I almost thought maybe Melissa had given up. Maybe she realized what she did was wrong. But on the third evening, the doorbell camera lit up. Melissa stood there with David beside her. She rattled the doorknob, frowning. "Why did she change the locks?" she hissed. David spoke softly. "Maybe she doesn't want people just walking in." Melissa rolled her eyes. "Don't be ridiculous. She's selfish, that's all. This house should be for the family." My fists clenched as I watched the recording from my phone. Selfish. Was it selfish to work for years, save every cent, and finally buy a place of peace? No, it was selfish to steal something that wasn't yours. I stayed silent, kept watching. The next day, they came back again. This time Melissa had tools. She tried the back door, pushing and tugging, as if she could force it open. When it didn't work, she slammed the door with her hand and cursed under her breath. "I'll get a locksmith," she told David. But my cameras caught every word. By now, my anger had changed. It wasn't just anger anymore. It was a cold determination. If I confronted her now, she would lie, twist, and make herself the victim. No, I needed proof. Evidence so clear that no one could deny it. I became a silent watcher. Every night, I sat in my bedroom with my phone in hand, eyes glued to the live feed. My heart pounded whenever I saw headlights on the street, whenever footsteps crossed the porch. A week later, something happened that made my blood run cold. Melissa arrived again, this time alone. She stood on the porch, phone pressed to her ear. I couldn't hear the other side of the call, but I heard her words. "Yes, the house is beautiful. It's right by the beach. 3 bedrooms, big living room, and the view is perfect. You'll love it." She smiled as she spoke. My stomach dropped. She was describing my house. Then she said the words that broke me. "Yes, it's available for rent. You can book it through me. I'll send you the details." I nearly screamed. Rent? She was trying to rent out my home? Without my permission? Without even owning it? Tears filled my eyes, not of sadness, but of pure rage. This wasn't just about a greedy sister-in-law anymore. This was theft. This was betrayal. She walked around the porch while still on the phone, filming with her camera as if she were giving a tour. She pointed at the sea, at the fence, at the windows. Then she laughed softly and said, "It's perfect for vacations. Totally private. No one else even uses it." When she left, I sat in silence for a long time. My hands shook so badly I could barely hold my phone. I replayed the video over and over. Melissa wasn't just invading my house. She was planning to make money from it. She wanted to turn my peace into her business. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed with the waves roaring faintly through the window. I thought of all the times Melissa had smiled at me, acted sweet at family dinners, pretended to care. All lies. Behind my back, she was plotting. The next morning, I decided something important. I wouldn't act in anger. Not yet. If Melissa wanted to play dirty, I would outsmart her. I would gather every video, every recording, every piece of proof. When the moment came, I would expose her, and she wouldn't be able to hide. I started saving every clip from the cameras. I labeled each one carefully. Melissa at porch, July 12th. Melissa calling about rent, July 14th. Melissa trying back door, July 15th. Day by day, the evidence grew. And with it, my resolve. One evening, I sat by the window, watching the sunset turn the sea golden. My phone buzzed with another alert from the cameras. Melissa again. This time she wasn't alone. She had 2 strangers with her. A couple. She smiled, waving at the house like a proud owner. "Here it is," she told them. "Your weekend getaway." The couple laughed, excited, walking around the porch. Melissa promised them keys soon. I nearly dropped my phone. That was it. She wasn't just planning anymore. She was already acting. And I knew then, this wasn't just family drama. This was war. I whispered to myself, voice steady despite the shaking in my chest. "You want to steal from me, Melissa? Fine. But this time, you've chosen the wrong person to fight." The next morning, I woke up early with one thought in my head: find proof outside the cameras. If Melissa was renting my house, there had to be signs online. So I made tea, sat at my kitchen table, and opened my laptop. I searched for rentals near my street. I typed the house features I knew by heart: 3 bedrooms, white fence, porch that faced the ocean. There it was. A listing with photos of my porch, my fence, my view. The title said, Quiet Beach Getaway, Private, Family Owned. The price was high. The dates were open. The description sounded sweet and careful, the kind of words that make people trust you. No owner on site, it said. Key pickup arranged for your convenience. My chest tightened. No owner on site. A perfect lie. The host name wasn't Melissa's full name, but it was her. Same profile picture she used on social media. Same short bio about family summers and hosting guests. I clicked on the contact button and saw a phone number. It matched the one she always used. I took screenshots of everything, every photo, every sentence, every date. I recorded my screen, slowly scrolling, so no one could say I faked it. I saved the files in a folder on my desktop and backed them up to a drive. Then I checked if anyone had booked. There were 2 reviews already. The first review said, We didn't get inside because the keys were delayed, but the host promised a free night next time. The second review said, Beautiful porch. We only toured outside, but we will return. My mouth went dry. She had been showing strangers my home. She had brought them to the porch, made promises, and planned to hand out keys she did not have the right to give. I felt a steady heat rise in my face, not wild anger, but a careful fire. I opened the camera app on my phone to watch the house live. The sea moved softly. The porch was empty. For a moment, I let myself breathe. Then, just after noon, a car pulled up. Not Melissa's car. A small silver hatchback. A young couple stepped out, holding hands and smiling. They walked to the porch like they belonged there. The woman took out her phone and checked a message. The man tried the doorknob and looked surprised when it didn't turn. He called someone. My phone MIC picked up pieces of the call. Hi, we're here. Yes, at the white fence. Okay, got it. 5 minutes later, a second car arrived. Melissa. She stepped out with a bright smile and a folder under her arm. She waved like a friendly host. The couple laughed, and she led them up the steps. I watched her point to the porch light, the windows, the garden path. She held the folder like it was a script. The couple nodded along, excited. I whispered to the empty room, Don't you dare open that door. Melissa pulled a key from her bag and tried the lock. It didn't fit. She tried again, forcing it. She said something, smiled, and told the couple the owner must have updated security for the season. Then, in a voice I had heard too many times, she said, Don't worry. I have a backup plan. She led them around the back. I switched camera views. In the rear feed, she bent near the patio door and pulled out a small pouch. Lockpicks. She actually brought lockpicks to my home. The couple looked uncomfortable now. The man asked a question. Melissa laughed like it was a joke and said, I'm just handy. My phone shook in my hands. I hit record again and captured every second. The pic didn't work. She stood up, annoyed, and made a call. Yes, it's me. Can you come now? Back door. Same price. She ended the call and told the couple to wait in their car because the sun is too strong. I dialed the non-emergency line for the local police, my voice steady. Hi. I'm the owner of a beach house on Seabreeze Lane. Someone is trying to access my home without permission. I have video. They have lockpicks. Please send someone. While I waited, I did one more thing. I went back to the listing, clicked report, and sent a long message to the platform with my deed in attachment, the address proof, and a short note. This is my house. I did not create this listing. Remove it and freeze the host. Minutes felt like hours. The couple stayed in their car, whispering. Melissa paced the porch, checking the street. Then a third car rolled in, an old van. A man stepped out with a tool bag. He didn't look like a regular locksmith. No uniform. No label. Melissa spoke to him quickly, pointing to the back door. He nodded and headed around the house. I held my breath. A police car turned the corner. It stopped right in front of the white fence. An officer stepped out, calm and alert. He walked to the porch and asked, Who is the homeowner here? Melissa smiled too brightly. I am the host. The owner allows family use. The officer looked at the couple in the car, then at the van, then back at Melissa. I asked who owns this property. I pressed the intercom on my porch camera. My voice came through the speaker, clear and hard. Officer, this is Linda. I am the owner. Please ask the woman on my porch to step away from the door. Everyone froze. Melissa's smile fell. She stared straight at the camera, then at the police car. The officer lifted his radio and said, "Copy. Owner is on the line." He asked Melissa for documentation. She opened her folder and took out a paper. The camera zoomed enough to see the title, Family Use Agreement. My name was on it. My signature, too, or something that looked like it. I felt a cold wave pass through me. She had printed a fake agreement with a fake version of my signature. I swallowed, kept my voice steady, and said through the intercom, "Officer, that paper is false. I have never signed any agreement. I can email you my deed and ID now." He nodded and gave me an address. I sent the files within a minute, along with the video clips and screenshots. The officer turned to Melissa. "Please step down from the porch." The fake locksmith peeked around the corner and saw the police car. He vanished, slipping back to his van and driving off without a word. The couple in the hatchback stepped out, worried. The woman said, "We booked this place online. We paid a deposit." Her voice trembled. "I understand," the officer said gently. "But this is not the host's property." Melissa tried to talk fast. "It's a misunderstanding." The family agreed. "Stop," I said through the camera. "Melissa, you never asked me. You planned this, you lied, and you tried to break in." Silence fell over the porch. Only the wind and the slow sound of waves. The officer asked Melissa for ID. He took notes. He told the couple they might need to file a claim with the platform to get their money back. He asked Melissa if she had any text messages proving I agreed. She didn't. She had nothing except the fake paper and the wrong key. Another police car arrived. They spoke quietly to each other, then to Melissa. She kept shaking her head, eyes hard. I could see the anger building behind her calm face. Finally, she looked up at the camera and said, low and sharp, "You think you can hide this house forever? You can't." The officer told her to leave. He told the couple to leave, too. He stood on the porch for a moment and spoke into the camera. "Ms. Linda, we'll file a report. If you want to pursue charges, you can. We'll also add a trespass warning in her name." "Thank you," I said. "I'll come by tomorrow morning." When the cars drove away, the street went quiet again. The porch sat in the soft light, empty and still, like nothing had happened. But everything had changed. I turned off the intercom and leaned back in my chair. My hands were steady now. I had proof. I had the listing, the video, the fake paper, the witness statements. The platform replied to my report a few hours later. Listing temporarily suspended pending investigation. It was not enough, but it was a start. That night, as the sky turned dark and the tide came in, I felt the truth settle in my chest. This wasn't a mistake or a silly family fight. It was deliberate. It was a plan. And it had gone on longer than I knew. I opened the camera archive again and watched the older clips, one by one. In one video, weeks back, I saw something I had missed the first time. David, my brother, standing on the porch alone, looking around, lifting the mat, checking the flower pot, searching for a spare key. He looked nervous. He made a call. He whispered, "I can't find it." My throat tightened. Maybe he hadn't known everything. Maybe he had. But I knew this. The next step would not be only about Melissa. The truth went deeper. And in the morning, I would pull it all into the light. Morning came with a hard wind and a clear sky. I drove to the beach house with a folder full of proof and a calm I had not felt in weeks. The porch smelled like salt and fresh paint. Nothing looked broken, but I could still feel last night's footsteps on the wood, like the house remembered everything. Officer Ramirez met me at the gate. He shook my hand and spoke gently. "We filed the report. If you want to press charges for attempted break-in and fraud, we can proceed." "I do," I said, steady. "But first, I need to speak to my family, with you present." He nodded. "That's wise." I called David and asked him to come. My voice was even. He heard something in it and didn't argue. "I'll be there," he said. An hour later, his car pulled up. He got out slowly, eyes soft and tired. He looked around the porch like it had grown teeth. "Linda, I'm sorry about all of this." I didn't hug him. I pointed to the steps. "Sit." Officer Ramirez stood nearby with his notebook. I placed the folder on the table between us. "Last night, Melissa tried to open my back door with lock picks," I said. "She brought strangers here. She created a fake agreement with my signature. I have the listing, the videos, and the footage of a locksmith she hired. I reported the listing. The platform suspended it." David rubbed his face. "I didn't know about the lock picks." But you knew about the listing. I asked. He looked at the ocean first, like the waves would answer for him. Then he nodded. I knew she was trying something. She told me you bought this place for the family, that you promised to let us use it. She said if we helped keep it rented, it would pay for maintenance. I stared at him. I never said that. I know, he whispered. I know that now. I slid a printed screenshot across the table. Weeks ago, you came alone to look for a spare key. The camera saw you. Why? His shoulders slumped. He took a long breath that sounded like a confession peeling itself open. Because I was scared. Melissa had a plan and she pushed hard. She said it was harmless. She kept saying you owed us for the times we helped you. She said you wouldn't mind. He swallowed. Anne, there's something else. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a folded paper. It was the family use agreement. I had seen it last night in Melissa's folder, but this one had notes in the margin. I glanced at my own name and the fake signature that tried to be mine. I didn't write this, he said. But I sent her a photo that helped her fake it. His voice cracked. She asked me for a clear picture of your signature for a surprise gift. I didn't think. I took a photo from an old birthday card you wrote me and sent it to her. She traced it for this. My chest hurt in a new way, not the sharp pain of anger, but the slow ache of disappointment. It was such a small, careless action. And it opened the door to everything. That was the start, he said. Then she made the listing. At first, I told myself it wasn't real. But when she brought people here, I panicked. I came to find a key. I wanted to stop it, but I was also weak. I didn't want to fight with her. Officer Ramirez spoke gently. Sir, do you know why your wife pushed this so hard? David nodded, eyes wet. Debt. We have debt I didn't want to admit. A loan for her mother's medical bills. A second loan for the kitchen. She thought if she could rent the house fast, she could fix everything before anyone noticed. He looked at me and whispered, I'm sorry. I failed you. I should have protected you, not helped her hurt you. The wind lifted the corner of the fake agreement and dropped it again. I looked at my brother, my quiet, good brother who let storms pass through him instead of standing up to them. I saw how shame sat on his shoulders like a heavy coat. David, I said softly, you're not going to prison for a birthday card. But you are going to fix this. He nodded quickly. Anything. First, I said, you'll take me to Melissa. Today, you'll stand by the truth. No lies, no excuses. I looked at Officer Ramirez. Please come with us. We drove to their house together. The officer followed us in a separate car. Melissa opened the door with a tight smile that died when she saw the officer and my folder. Hello, host, I said, calm. Let's talk. She tried to speak fast, to paint the story her way, but I opened the folder and laid out the proof like stone. Screenshots, the listing link, the reviews, the camera stills of the porch and the lock picks, the agreement with my trace signature, the message I had sent to the platform. Each page took more color out of her face. This is illegal, Officer Ramirez said quietly. You are lucky no one got hurt last night. The homeowner has enough to press charges. Melissa's jaw tightened. It was for the family. No, I said. It was for control. You wanted power over something that wasn't yours. For a moment, she looked like she might argue herself into a circle. Then she exhaled and dropped her eyes. Fine, she said. I'll take it down. It's already suspended, I said. And you will write a message to every person who contacted you. You will return deposits. No excuses. Then you'll sign this. I slid a paper over. A written promise that you will not step on my property again without my invitation. The police will keep a copy. She stared at the page like it burned. You'd do this to family. You did this to family, I answered. Silence filled the kitchen. The clock ticked loud on the wall. David stood very still, as if moving would break something that could never be fixed. Finally, Melissa signed. The pen scratched like a small, ugly truth. The officer took the document. We'll attach this to the report. Ms. Linda, if she trespasses again, call us. It will be immediate. We left their house without another word. Outside, David touched my arm. I'll pay you back for any damage. And I'll cover the cost of the cameras, the locks, everything. I shook my head. You'll pay the platform's fees for all refunds. You'll also go to a lawyer with me and put this in writing. And, David, you'll get help. Not just for the debt. For the way you let people push you. Tears gathered in his eyes. He nodded. I will. Back at the beach house, I stood on the porch and watched the water. The waves were strong, but the sky had softened. Officer Ramirez handed me a card. "You did the right thing," he said. "I waited until I had proof," I replied. "That's what made it clean," he said. "You didn't fight fire with fire. You turned on the light." When he left, the house felt quiet but not empty. It felt mine again. I unlocked the door and walked through the rooms I had chosen piece by piece. The blankets were still folded, the books stacked, the tea jar full. My safe place had been tested and it was still here. That evening, I sent a short message to the whole family. Simple, clear, calm. The beach house belongs to me. It is not for shared use. Do not visit without my invitation. What happened has been handled with the police and the platform. Please respect this boundary. Some replied with hearts. Some said nothing. David sent a longer note. "I'm sorry. I'll make it right. Thank you for not giving up on me." I made tea, opened the porch door, and let the sea air wash through the living room. I sat in the quiet and felt something loosen inside my chest. Not joy. Not yet. But relief. And something stronger than relief. Respect for myself. The twist of the day stayed with me. It wasn't only Melissa's greed that nearly took my peace. It was David's small, careless act, the photo of my signature on a birthday card, that opened the door. One tiny door, and a whole storm came through. But the storm passed. And I learned. I learned to keep what is mine, not with fear, but with clear steps and strong lines. I learned that love without boundaries is a trap. And I learned that the truth, when you gather it piece by piece, becomes a wall no lie can climb. The sun fell into the water like a coin dropping into a deep blue jar. I stood, closed the porch, and whispered to the house, to the tide, to myself. This is my home. And my peace stays with me.